Okay, I'm going to be making our Oats milk and honey soap, and we're going to use the heat transferred method. It cuts down on my soaping time big time. And right now our lye solution is about 205 degrees, which is perfect for melting all of our nice hard oils. Sorry if you hear that in the background, that's my washer machine. You know, we all have to still live our lives even though we're soaping. So I'm actually using a water discount for this soap of about 5 ounces, but I'm actually not discounting the liquid because I'm going to use an oat milk that I made. Basically, I put several cups of ground up oats in water, let them sit for a couple hours just because I had to go and feed, and we're starting to get our show steers ready, and we have to go out there and try to get them used to us so they tame down, because you know they came out of the pasture with their moms. It's the best way to do it. But anyway, so it took a little bit of time, so that oat milk really got to sit for a while and get all those good benefits of oat milk. And I will see if this is going to take too long. It shouldn't. This soap is one of my non-vegan free soaps. I am using Lard. Lard makes a really nice white creamy bar, and I know there's a lot of those people out there that don't like us to use animal fats, but unfortunately animal fats are probably some of the best soaping materials. They make really a very creamy moisturizing bar. Now I do add other oils. I do still use some coconut oil in there because we need our cleansing benefits that coconut oil, brings to our soap. I do use shea butter, as you can see. It's right there. So it takes a little longer for it to break down, just like the lard. So I also, in my soft oils, which I'll be adding here in just a little bit, I use quite a bit of vitamin E oil. I just believe in the benefits of vitamin E a lot. Healing, protecting, you know, some of those things that vitamin E has been known to do. That doesn't necessarily mean that you will have that same benefit, but vitamin E has been used for years to help with scarring, stuff like that. So all of my soaps have a fairly high amount of vitamin E. I think in this one I'm using 5 ounces of pure vitamin E oil and 5 ounces of castor oil because I want it to be nice and bubbly. And the castor oil also helps with it to harden, along with the salt that I put in my lye water solution. So it's all beneficial and makes a very nice bar soap. Of course, I always have my olive oil and my canola oil blend, and that looks like this. It's a 50-50 blend. And that way, when I measure it out, if I'm going to use a total of 16 ounces, which I'm using in this particular recipe, so it's basically divided. When I put it into my lye calculator, I divide it up as 8 and 8. So that way, they are 2 different sap levels, and I need to make sure that my lye and stuff does well. I just found that this particular oil brand that I use, believe it or not, I get it from a local restaurant that can order it for me on their truck, tax-free, and I just pay them, and it's free shipping for them because they order so much every week. So I can get a whole case for under $80, which they're huge bottles. They're these huge bottles, and this is that's a nice brand. I mean, you're going to pay for it in a store, and it's a 50-50 blend, and I've been soaping with this I don't know how long now, a couple of years now, and man, it makes a nice bar of soap. It really does. The quality is definitely there. Canola oil, of course, is not known as being a more expensive oil, of course, but that particular blend makes a very luxurious bar. So I think it's a fairly high quality oil. It wasn't the cheapest and it wasn't the most expensive. Most expensive would be all olive oil, which I do make a soap with all olive oil. So as you can see, pretty much our oils are all melted, up. And you can see it's fairly light colored still. You can see what happens. I don't think I'm adding enough olive oil. This is my olive oil and canola oil blend. I honestly don't feel like I'm adding enough of this to offset so much the color. Oh, darn it. Not very prepared today. Of the soap, because I am not going to use any colorants in this soap. It's going to be a very natural soap. The particular fragrance oil that I am using in this is one that I've always used. It is by far my most favorite. Oats Milk and Honey. In fact, it's the very first fragrance oil. My very first soap I ever made was with this oil. And it's great. I love it. Okay, so this is my, excuse me, this is my vitamin E oil. It's nice and clear, pure vitamin E oil. And that's quite a bit. At least I feel like it is, and my customers seem to enjoy it. Boy, you don't realize how loud your washing machine is until you're standing here trying to soap and the thing goes. I have one of those LG washing machines that has like the clear top, and you load it from the top, but it's a high efficiency and it sounds like an airplane taking off. Anyway, so this is my castor oil. Like I said, I do add quite a bit to this particular recipe. There is it needs it. I've played around with it for enough years that I am using, lard is a hard oil, but yet it's still fairly soft. I mean, it's malleable. You can mold it. It's not like coconut oil that when it's hard and cooled down, at least the coconut oil I use. So, anyway, I'm going to kind of give this a little bit of a mix with my handy dandy blender here. Get those air bubbles out. Knock it a couple of times. Now, I am going to go ahead and blend this up quite a bit. Hopefully past trace. Mild trace, excuse me. And it's, it's tracing a little bit. And then I'm going to add my oat milk. I got to weigh that out. I'll show you how I weigh it out. Now, when I soap with lard, I definitely let it sit. Instead of just the 24 hours, I do let it sit for 48 hours at least. I'm going to put this off to the side. Bring out my scale. This scale is just a cheap scale somebody gave to me. I believe you can even get it at Walmart. It's pretty cheap. And believe it or not, it's pretty darn accurate. And I've had it now for, I don't know, 4 years. I test it. I calibrate it just to make sure that it is still accurate. I have these little weights I put on it, and it's unbelievable. It's still accurate. It's not a looker, though. You can see where the lye has kind of gotten to it, but it still works. That's all that matters. So here's my oat milk. I am using 25.4 ounces of total water for this. And I went ahead and discounted my water to 20.4, so that way I'm adding only 5 ounces exactly of the oat milk to the soap. I don't want to add too much, so I'm going to go ahead and weigh this out to 5 ounces. And it is a little heavy. Okay, exactly 5 ounces. It's kind of one of those things, once you get to know your scale, you get pretty good about being able to get your ounces pretty easily. So, bring my stuff back here. Go ahead and pour that nice, beautiful oat milk in. Get my little container scraped here. We want all of that in there. I thought about using some honey in this, but because I used the soap transfer method and I'm soaping a little hotter than if I let everything cool to room temperature and then soaked. And as soapers, and even if you're not a soaper, you need to know that honey drastically, because it's a sugar, will heat up your soap. So I'm already soaping a little hotter. In fact, let's see what I'm soaping at. It's at 99. Normally, if I'm not doing heat transfer, I'm soaping at 76, 75. So, yeah. Give this a little bump. Okay, time to add our beautiful fragrance oil. It is by, oh, let me make sure I get lined up here, by Virginia Candle Supply. Wonderful company. Some of their fragrance oils aren't the best, but you know what? That's what happens with all companies. They have some great ones, and then they have some not so great ones. So, this one's oatmeal, milk, and honey. Great thing about this is it has absolutely no vanillin. So I don't have to worry about it taking my nice, beautiful white soap and turning it into brown. It's going to say nice and oats color and creamy, and it's going to be beautiful. Normally I would add a little bit of TD, titanium dioxide, to this. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it its natural color. This soap will be essentially one of my more natural, it'll be one of my more natural soaps, because most of my soaps, you know, I decorate them up. I use the glitter and I use the embeds. This one's going to have a little sprinkling of oats on the top, and that's pretty much it. this soap up to pretty thick trace because I'm just going to pour it in and then I'm going to do a decoration on top. Get rid of those air bubbles. See what my temperature is. I think it's cooled down a little bit. Oh, my fragrance oil, that's interesting. It has heated it up some. And I know some of my fragrance oils do that. I'm a little more diligent on my temperatures than I used to be. And just because I kind of like to see what everything is doing and how it reacts. So just so you know, the Virginia Candle Supply, it does heat your soap up a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. It heated mine up along with that oatmeal. I'm sure it's a fiber and a carb, so I'm sure, and it turns into sugar. I'm sure it's probably having a little bit of say in that heating up too. Okay, that's a little bit nice and thick. I'm going to stop mixing it. This particular recipe, if you stop mixing it and kind of let it sit, it does harden up. This is a very, very well used mold. I always make enough that I can fill one of these up too. These are what I make my sink soaps out of. My customers love my sink soaps. They are perfect size to sit next to the sink. They're perfect size for little hands to grab onto, big hands too. And I make them in every soap I make. Okay, so course I have somehow managed to get, and let me see if I can get a different mold. That mold's got a piece of glitter in it, and yeah, getting glitter out of silicone, I mean, it's almost impossible. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, give this a little stir here. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and pour, excuse me. Jeez, I can't even talk today. God. I am a teacher by trade during the week. I actually work with a very specialized set of kids that do have the disability label of autism, and they're my special babies, and you know, we work very hard for them and with them, and they work so hard, bless their hearts. And whew, I'm tired by the weekend, so that's how it is. But I do soap, that keeps me calm. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pour these. Let me see if I can make this look better. There we go. Let's do it that way. My camera thing is not cooperating. Of course it isn't cooperating. Okay, let's pour this one in. We're gonna go all the way to the top. I'm gonna knock these down. Ooh, I might need both my molds for those hearts. But I'm going to let these set up just a little bit because I'm going to kind of texture them on top, make them look nice and pretty. Let me bounce this. Sorry, my other tripod broke, so I have to connect this one to the table. So it's going to shake for a minute. So you might feel like you're experiencing an earthquake. So, okay. Get a good view of that. I'm going to turn them this way now. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with them. I do know I need to go ahead and pour my sink soaps. I don't know if you can see me doing that or not. I'm sure you probably can. This tripod is not my favorite. So I just pretty much pour them in. And then I knock them down. Oats and honey is one of my... It's funny because in the big bars, it's not as popular. But in my sink bars, for some reason, it's probably one of my most popular. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's the smell is different. Okay. Something's got to happen here. This thing is... It is time for a new tripod. And I'll tell you what. I'm new to all this. And my 9-year-old is better at this video making stuff than I am, and that's just, I'm pretty sure that's normal. Oh, so yeah. So anyway, if you can give me any suggestions. I really need to invest in probably the GoPro setup and all of that. I just haven't done it. It's gonna try to wait till this summer and see how much I think I'm actually gonna use it. I like making the videos. It's just that mine are pretty still and they're just kind of right here at my table, but I definitely need a better setup for this so that my customers can see what I do. So let me get these all down and get them cleaned up. Oh, I am out of paper towel. Just gonna kind of wipe my mold down a little bit. That way when I take them out, I'm not sitting there and having crunchies falling everywhere, because, well, that's what happens. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle on these little sink soaps. Just a little bit of this, which is just some organic natural oats. Oh, yeah. That way my customers know that's what this soap is. I mean, it's really for decoration. It pretty much falls off when you first use it. But this way, when I put it in my 4-packs online in my Etsy store, they know, hey, that's the Oats and Honey soap. Because all my soaps, my sink soaps, I try to do something similar, excuse me, God, I can't talk, with them. I'll show you one I did the other day. So, this beautiful soap, awesome, beautiful top. Here's the sink soap. They're identical. And it has a little glittery top, kind of to match the top. So that way, when they're getting their 4-packs, they know that they're getting that soap. Let me see, do I have any others? Oh, I have a lavender. Here's a lavender one I made. Kind of went crazy with those mica lines. That was kind of the thing, and it really turned out pretty. Here's a little sink soap I made. It's a little more decorative, but lavender. I'm actually not a huge lavender fan, but oh, I don't know. That lavender is pretty cool. Oh, I gotta show you these. They'll need a little tender loving care, but here is, I'll spray them and clean them up, but here is a unicorn, and oops, I don't want that to fall in my soap. And here is a blue one that I made. I trim these up and make them look really nice. But those are some of my sink soaps that I use and do. So let's see if we can get this soap textured a little bit. See what we're gonna do. Oh yeah. I always like the spoon drag. Let's do this one going this way. I maybe need to do a little bit more. Not being very aggressive, am I? Okay, let's see. Let's go this way now. Let's see what we can get out of this soap. I don't want it to be too high in the middle. Ooh, I think that looks good. I'm going to sprinkle the oats on it, just down the middle here. And I am gonna set them down in there a little bit. Make sure that they stay during the cutting. I am gonna put a little bit over the whole thing. I was thinking about how I cut these molds. I started cutting these molds different. You saw the soaps I just showed you, and they are pretty neat. They're hand size, but yet you're still getting a good 4 or 5 ounce soap, and they cure very nicely, very nicely. So they're nice and hard, and the cure time is at least 6 weeks though. I am noticed if I use the lard. If I use my palm oil and basically the same mix, I just replace my lard with palm oil, then and up my coconut oil a little bit, then I am good. Okay, so I'm gonna press this down a little bit. We'll see how this goes. Make sure those are nice and in there. And this is a first. I am done. I am gonna spritz them with a little bit of alcohol, 90% here, because I have a feeling that these are gonna like to ash a little bit. So I'll come by every, I don't know, 30 minutes or so here, starting out the first couple hours, and then I will stop spraying them at that point. Might spray them a couple more times throughout the evening after I go through that first couple hours of spraying them. But anyway, this is my oats and honey soap. So nice and creamy and smooth. And it's going to be a nice white bar. There's little sink soaps. Nice and pretty. We appreciate you watching, and hopefully we can get some more videos going on maybe some of our really pretty decorative soaps. Maybe I can get a better setup for this whole filming thing. That's really what I want to try to work on in the next month or two. Our shop will be linked down in the description. I do, if any of my, customers local, I do deliver for free. That is a choice. And we do have, if you order $35 or more, you get free shipping from our store right now. We have some pretty neat soaps coming up. I've got red garnet coming. I've got Egyptian amber coming. Which other ones? That that lavender is going to be coming. Just some nice sink soap packs for Valentine's Day, things like that. So please go over to the shop, take a look. I have shower steamers in stock right now, which are my absolute customer's favorite. We do use those crystal menthol, and I use another essential oil blend with that. So they are very strong, very potent. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. We are on Facebook. I'll link all of that down, and Instagram. We're just a small town in Kansas, farming, teaching, and soaping. Talk to you later.